Did I mention that having more hands would have been useful?
Hello there.
Welcome back to the channel. This is part of a video series on how to paint calipers on a Tesla. Today specifically, it's not Tesla specific. We're going to be taking off Brembo brakes. They are found on many sports vehicles, not just Teslas. Watch the whole video. We're going to show you how to take the brakes off of a Tesla, and then we'll start off how to disassemble the Brembo brakes themselves. Assuming you know nothing about taking off brakes, we're going to run through the whole process here. In the link I'll have where to jump to focus just on the rear parking brake, which is the bulk of this. But assuming you know nothing, here's the front caliper. We'll start with this one here. To take it off, there's two 18mm screws on the back side. Originally when I looked at this, the very first time, I had no idea what I was looking at. So let's do a quick rundown and explain what we're looking at. So these screws are not going to come out. I feel like they hold the two pieces of the caliper together. There's a center line right here. We're not going to take this apart. We're not going to take these out. This is all going to come as one piece. This right here is one brake pad. This is the other brake pad. And in between is a spring. And when I first did this, the very first time, I put in the spring backwards. So when I take it out, I'll show you the correct way to put it in. Just to make sure, but the basic gist, if you remember nothing else, remember that the rounded edge of this long piece here goes down and points towards the brake pads, and the flat side of this middle piece will point up with a little rivet there. All right, so I'm coming in from behind. You can see this piece here. This is called the knuckle right here. And then attached to the knuckle by a screw here. Again, this is 18mm. And then another one up here. We're going to take those two out, and that will release the whole caliper. Don't forget that we've got this brake line here. We want to be very careful not to stretch it or stress it. So right here is a clip, and we can actually just pull this clip right out. I just grab it right here with a pair of needle nose and yank towards the camera. And that will release it from here and give me a little bit more of this length here that I can utilize. And I will rest it on the bucket, so all is well. And then once we get to that point, we'll show you what to do next. Okay, and I'm not big for doing lots of ratcheting, so I'm gonna get my air ratchet out. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to wiggle this guy off here. Before I do that, I need to release the clip that's holding the brake line in place. Okay, so we're going to come in here. There she is, right there. Here we go. And again, just start to wiggle. And there we go. Okay, so that'll give us a little more play in the brake line when I wiggle off the caliper. There we go. The bucket's in place. All right. That was tight. Okay, and the next step is I'm gonna clean this up. First thing I want to do, I'm going to do a couple of things. One, I am going to go ahead and take the brake line off here, and I'll show you how I wrap it up and try to keep as much from leaking out all over my beautiful garage floor as possible. The other piece, we're going to take off These cover up the bleeder line here. I'm going to take those off, and I'm going to take the pads out. And this is really where some of the secret to Tesla comes in, or to Brembo brakes that you might not have seen with other brakes before. So let me take a pause, get set up here, and I'll come right back.
298 frozen patties later.
We're going to use a 10mm socket on this guy right here. And finally, I'm going to wrap up this line in an old glove and tape it right here. I'm just going to tape it. And we got a little bit of brake fluid starting to leak out and leak down. And remember, these whole calipers are filled with brake fluid, and all of that's going to come out. So that's why it's important to do it outside. Okay, it was time for a new glove anyways. So I'm going to use this glove that I had right here. And then in a highly scientific method here, I'm going to wrap this up with some packaging tape. Take it up nice and high. This guy is fully off of the car. What I'm going to do is I'll take it, just set it aside, and we'll get started on the back.
I say, let's do it!
Alright guys, so I've moved the calipers outside to set up a little workbench here. With spray paint and everything going everywhere, I just wanted a lot of open space. So there's a spring-loaded clip here that holds in the pads, and these push pins hold in the spring. The best way to get these push pins out is to knock them out. So I brought my hammer, and I've got my punch. I'm gonna put the punch right there. Grab my hammer and just release those. Okay. So now that it's released from this side, but it's still kind of together, push down on the spring. It's even easier with the tool, and that will release the tension on the pin, and then with my needle nose, I'll wiggle it out from the other side. So again, push down on the spring. Did I mention that having more hands would have been useful? Okay, and you can see this guy popped out, and once it pops out, you can just pull it out. Like that, pull the pin out, that releases the tension, and this one comes right out. So, okay, so now we're down to just the caliper. We're gonna set these aside. They are dirty, and go to work cleaning these guys up. At this point, you're gonna change the pads, or paint the calipers, or whatever brought you to my video in the first place. I'm going to show you how to paint calipers in a separate video, and you can find the link in the description down below. Okay, I'm going to take off the tape. So if I'm going to lean this forward, I'm going to put it on something soft so that it doesn't smudge. Before I put these in, switch to a can of disc brake quiet. Not saying that we need it, but hey, we're here. Why not use it? Cool, got my pins. Oh yeah, some of these are short and some of these are long. Just like a house key, each pin is unique. Make sure that they pair off identically. Start them on their journey here. I'm remembering that I can slide one in. Okay. So remember, I make this mistake a lot. Flip it over, rivet faces up. Made that mistake before. Got the car all back together, drove around. Lots of squeaky noise. Could not figure out what it was I had done wrong. Okay, there we go, starting to come through. So I'll just go ahead and finish this up. There we go, went right in, no problems. And done.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
And then to get the brakes back on, we're just going to reverse the process. The last and most important step would be bleeding the brakes. It goes a lot better when you have two people, one person to monitor the bleed and another person to pump the brakes. To do this, you're going to need a couple things. First, a catch pan is usually very helpful in making sure that we don't drip brake fluid all over the place. Second, we'll need some .3 brake fluid to refill whatever comes out. And finally, we'll need an 11mm socket to open up the bleeder valve and close it again. Now there's one on each side. You can see first the one right here on the front side is evident, and then there's one again on the back side. So don't forget to do both of them. Start by opening up the bleeder valve, either the front side or the back side, it doesn't matter. Here we go, just a little bit. While you're monitoring the bleeder valve, have your assistant depress the brake slowly. And as soon as the bubbling stops, close that valve back up. Once the bleeding is done, pumping the brakes should make it feel nice and solid. Don't forget, you're gonna have to do this 8 times, front and back on 4 different calipers. And finally, go to the front to access the .3 brake fluid area. Windshield washer fluid, brake fluid, coolant, or antifreeze. Use a funnel if your hand is not as steady as mine. Fill it up to the fill line, which is right here. Hook back the cowl and you're all done. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. This was a lot of fun. If you'd like to learn more about removing just the parking brake from the Tesla, check out my other video. Or if you'd like to see how I got from unpainted calipers to painted calipers, check out my other video. Otherwise, we hope to see you again next time. If this video was helpful, please like, please subscribe. That's how we make more videos. Thanks a lot.